Imagine living in a magical world inhabited by several different races, but where humans are the weakest beings, treated like garbage by all the others. Our story begins in a world created by a goddess and inhabited by 9 different races: dragonids, elves, onis, dwarves, demons, dark elves, centaurs, beast folk, and humans, in that order. Soon we meet the protagonist of our story, a boy named Light, who says goodbye to his family to travel the world and become an adventurer, hoping to improve his family's life once he returns from his journey. But right away, the boy gets lost in the city and is confronted by a humanoid wolf who says that humans should know their place in society. Light eventually arrives at an adventurer's guild and speaks with a receptionist, who asks for his name. Light introduces himself and explains it's his first registration as an adventurer. Right off the bat, the receptionist wants to put the boy in the lowest rank and asks what his gift is. Light replies that his gift is Unlimited Gacha, which the receptionist doesn't understand at all, asking him to explain better. Light quickly summons a magic compass, and when he presses the button, the object begins spinning on its own. Suddenly, a fork card appears and materializes into a real fork on the table, but to everyone's surprise, it's bent. Trying to fix the awkward moment, Light summons more cards, an apple and a loaf of bread. Yet what comes out is a rotten apple and a moldy loaf. At that point, the receptionist, without hesitation, assigns him to rank F, the lowest possible. Light asks if he can take any jobs, and the receptionist points to a wall behind him with available quests. But she quickly realizes the boy can't read and feels pity for the poor kid. She grabs a paper and tells him he could chop wood, carry dirt, and cut grass, but warns the pay will be very low. Still, Light accepts, even if the jobs are degrading. He works all day under the scorching sun, and at night, he earns just enough to afford one night in a cheap inn. Looking for a place to sleep, Light accidentally bumps into 3 humanoid dogs. One of them says Light dirted his clothes and should pay for cleaning. When the dog sees Light's small money pouch, he doesn't think twice, knocks the boy to the ground and steals his hard-earned coins. Light demands they give his money back, but they just laugh in his face, saying they'll put it to better use buying drinks. Fallen on the ground, Light starts getting insulted by passers-by. One says, "Get out of the way, human," while another tells him to sleep in the trash with the rest of the scum, showing just how badly humans are treated by other races. When everything seems lost, a hand reaches out to help him up, and Light looks up to see a beautiful elf girl. Shocked, he notices a whole group standing behind her. Trying to comfort him, the elf kneels and gives him a warm hug, even as other onlookers criticize the scene. Light, realizing she got dirty just to embrace him, thinks he must be dreaming, but the elf tells him he's wide awake. The group introduces themselves as the Concord of Tribes, a faction formed by members of every race created by the goddess. The beast folk Garu, the elf Sasha, the dragonid Drago, the demon Diablo, the Oni Oboro, the dwarf Nano, the dark elf Sion, and the centaur Santer. The only race missing was a human, and that's where Light would fit in. Sion explains that their group was founded to fight racial discrimination and that they needed someone like Light to help their cause. The leader, Drago, extends his hand and asks if Light wants to join them. Without thinking twice, the boy accepts, feeling like the happiest child in the world, unaware of what fate had in store. Soon we see a cave scene in the middle of a storm, a giant worm-like monster about to devour Light, who's completely defenseless. Thankfully, Drago saves him, asking if he's okay. But another worm lunges, and this time it's Sasha who fires an arrow right through its head. She scolds Light, saying she can't take her eyes off him for a second and tells him to stay close. The elf reveals they're in the most dangerous dungeon, the Abyss, where anything could kill a fragile boy like him in an instant. Light apologizes for being a burden, and Sasha strokes his cheek gently like a mother, only to be teased by her teammates for not resisting the boy's cuteness. Sasha quickly denies it, saying she's just protecting the team's reputation, but the dark elf doesn't buy it. Drago steps in to cheer Light up, saying he loves the tea Light makes for the team, which brings a smile to the boy's face. The leader then orders the group to move on, and Light, ever enthusiastic, follows. After walking for a while, they stop to rest. Light assumes it's tea time and starts preparing it as usual. While he's doing that, Drago suddenly approaches and tells him there's no need to make tea anymore. Confused, Light looks up, and the leader bluntly says he's officially expelled from the group. Light freezes, not understanding, and Drago repeats, "You're fired." At first, Light thinks it's a joke, but Garu says they're literally kicking his ass out. Realizing it's real, Light asks what he did wrong, and Garu replies he's completely useless. The others join in mocking him. Even Sasha, the one who once protected him, calls him so stupid he drives her crazy. Sion says she's not sure if his idiocy is due to lack of brain cells or just a human thing. The dwarf Nano says he's relieved they're finally rid of that nuisance, and others remark that he smells so bad they couldn't breathe near him. Still thinking it's a prank, Light turns to Sasha, who confirms they're serious. Shocked, Light asks why they pretended to like him, and Garu says they've been faking it all along. He then asks why they even wanted him in the group, and Drago answers, it was because of his gift. Light, confused, says his useless gacha couldn't be that special. Drago explains that their superiors once thought Light might be a maestro, but after seeing his poor performance, they realized his power was worthless, so the group was ordered to discard him. Sion comments that their bosses should have fired him earlier, and Sasha adds she's glad she won't have to marry an inferior being, revealing her affection had been an act all along. Light starts piecing things together, asking about maestros and bosses. Drago scolds Garu for talking too much, but the wolf shrugs. The boy won't live to tell their secrets anyway. Drago agrees and gives the order, execute Light. Excited, Garu activates his claws and slashes Light's face, leaving a deep scar on his cheek. Horrified by the blood on his hands and by the betrayal of his supposed friends, Light panics and runs for his life. Sasha shoots an arrow into his knee, knocking him down. Garu laughs cruelly, walking toward him while Sion says the boy's screams are music to her ears. Without mercy, Garu kicks Light in the stomach, sending him rolling on the ground, then continues beating him until Drago tells him not to overdo it. Sasha coldly remarks that Light should die at the hands of a monster, not them, to make their story believable. Understanding the plan, Garu readies to finish him off. Light, crawling in desperation, whispers that he wants to live. Suddenly, a massive purple portal appears around him. Drago shouts at Garu not to let him escape, but it's too late. Light vanishes without a trace. He wakes up elsewhere in the dungeon, realizing he triggered a teleport trap that sent him far from the traitors. But he despairs, knowing he'll soon die alone anyway. Crying, he misses his family and recalls the happy times traveling with the group. All lies. He can't understand what Maestro means or who ordered his death. Rage slowly consumes his broken heart. He vows to kill every single member of the Concord of Tribes with his own hands. His thoughts are interrupted when suddenly two giant, twin-headed stone beasts appear. They're level 1000, monsters of legend. That's when Light realizes he's been teleported to the deepest layer of the abyss. Seeing death approach, he activates his gift one last time, summoning the compass. But this time, a huge blue magic circle appears, something unlike anything before. As the monster lunges at him, the compass draws a golden card, and in a flash of light, a young woman appears, slicing the creature to pieces in an instant. Light stares in awe. The woman, dressed like a maid, turns to him and walks closer. Kneeling before him, she bows gracefully and touches his wounded cheek, instantly healing it with a soft glow. She apologizes, saying she couldn't bear to see such a beautiful face injured. Amazed that his pain is gone, Light stands up fully healed. The young woman asks his name, and he introduces himself. She calls him Master Light and pledges eternal loyalty as his maid, leaving him stunned. When he asks who she is, she requests permission to speak her name, which he grants. The woman smiles and introduces herself as May, the tireless maid. Then she reveals she's level 9999 and came from a super ultra rare card from his Unlimited Gacha. Light can hardly believe it. His so-called useless gacha had summoned someone this powerful. May humbly says she's just a maid and he can call her by name. When he does so, she beams with happiness. She then asks a favor, to analyze his gacha and understand its true potential. She insists it can't be useless. Light agrees, and she begins her assessment. After examining it thoroughly, May is astonished, saying his abilities were hidden deep within and invisible to anyone below her level. She explains that the gacha can be rolled infinitely, and the rarity of cards depends on the mana density around, the amount of energy in the environment. She lists the rarities: extra, super ultra rare, SSS rare, SS rare, S rare, normal, and error, respectively. May reveals that mana density is highest in the dungeon's depths and lowest on the surface, explaining why Light couldn't summon her before. She praises his courage for surviving the abyss alone and summoning her rare card, but admits he's still weak and would have died without protection. Light bitterly explains he wasn't alone, his group betrayed him. Hearing this, May embraces him and apologizes for not understanding his pain. She vows to destroy those who wronged him, asking permission to hunt them down and bring back their heads as an offering to her master. But Light refuses, saying it was his fault for being weak, and he'll grow stronger to take revenge himself. He asks if his dream is foolish, and May kneels again, declaring his dream is hers too, and that she'll help him fulfill it. She tells him she believes in his potential above all else. Grateful, Light thanks her sincerely. After that, Light activates his Unlimited Gacha once more, harnessing the Abyss's immense energy to summon another powerful card, and thus begins his journey to build a kingdom of his own, one that will pave the road to vengeance against the cruel, unjust world that betrayed him. 3 years later, 3 years have passed. We see a line of maids standing with their heads bowed while Light, wearing a long cloak and holding a staff, walks confidently down the corridor with May by his side. The boy now radiates an aura of authority never seen before. He praises the maids for their excellent work, and they thank their master respectfully. Soon, some of the maids begin expressing rather personal feelings toward their lord, which makes May visibly uncomfortable. She asks for permission to silence those chatty fairies, but Light simply smiles, acknowledging that they're just love-struck, and that's not really a problem. We cut to a small town where several villagers greet Light warmly, showing that this settlement was founded by him. One villager offers him a plate of food, which Light says he'll try later. Another reports that supplies are running low, to which Light replies that he'll inform the administrator. May comments that she'll handle it quickly so no one suspects a problem in logistics. Light notes that the population has grown tremendously over the past 3 years and that the system needs to be restructured. He then asks what the other members of his quartet are doing. May replies that they're faithfully carrying out their missions. We're then introduced to new members of Light's army, starting with Aoyuki, who is exploring the upper perimeter of the Abyss and creating maps. Light compliments her scouting work, though May warns him about Aoyuki's unstable behavior. She tends to act like a cat. Light, however, finds that amusing. Light next asks about Ellie, the mage, and May says she's been working hard to develop new spells aligned with the grand plan. Light hopes she's not overworking herself, but May assures him that every one of the servants loves serving their master. Finally, Light asks about Nazuna, and May explains she's patrolling the castle grounds as usual. May describes Nazuna as an expert in close combat, though a bit flawed as a person. Light doesn't seem to mind, saying it's nice to have Nazuna around since she makes things more entertaining. As Light and May walk down the corridor, they're suddenly stopped by Jack, a tall, muscular man and one of the warriors Light summoned. May scolds him for speaking to the master so casually, but Light says it's fine. He sees Jack as an older brother, which clearly irritates May. Light then says he'll go train for a bit, and May wishes him good luck. At the training grounds, Light says he won't use gloves today. Jack tells him to bring it on, and the boy dashes forward at full speed, landing a powerful punch straight to Jack's abdomen, hard enough to push back the huge man. Jack laughs nervously, warning that such a hit could have killed anyone without superhuman strength. Light grins, reminding him that he's not wearing gloves today. Jack responds in kind, and the two clash fiercely, exchanging blows in a thrilling sparring match. Meanwhile, Nazuna continues her routine patrol around the palace until a few maids approach her. One teasingly asks if she's just wandering around or actually patrolling. Nazuna, cheerful as always, replies that she's following her master Light's orders and doing her job. The maids flatter her for her dedication, making Nazuna blush and humbly reply that she's just obeying orders. When asked where she'll patrol next, she says she's not sure yet. The maids then slyly suggest she visit a very important and secret place, one forbidden even to them. Naive as ever, Nazuna doesn't catch on and agrees, while the maids exchange mischievous smiles, clearly planning to trick one of Light's commanders. Moments later, Nazuna knocks on a large door, Light's room. May opens it, shocked to see her co-worker there. May demands to know why Nazuna came to Light's chambers, and Nazuna proudly replies that she's on patrol. May calmly says the area is perfectly safe, but Nazuna quickly asks what she's doing there since Light is training with Jack. May insists she's simply cleaning the room, performing her duties as head maid. Nazuna, however, ignores her and steps inside, teasing May for being such a workaholic. Nazuna notices the bed looks like someone just laid on it, and May awkwardly claims it's her unique bed-making technique. Excited, Nazuna asks to learn it, but May says it's a trade secret. Nazuna playfully calls her Light's first incarnation, acknowledging her status as his first summon. Internally, Mei sighs with relief at Nizuna's innocence. Nizuna then remembers her errand and hands Mei a letter, an official notice from the other maids demanding that Mei undergo a medical examination and step down as head maid. Mei remains calm and tells Nizuna not to worry, assuring her she'll deal with the matter personally. She even gives Nizuna a few coins as thanks for delivering the message. Touched, Nizuna says Mei can always count on her help, then happily leaves the castle to buy sweets. Mei exhales deeply, relieved to have gotten rid of her nuisance for the day. At a shop in town, Nizuna picks out milk and dorayaki. Upon exiting, she runs into Aoyuki, who's watching the city from a castle balcony. Nizuna asks if she wasn't supposed to be exploring the abyss. Oyuki responds with cat-like meows, which Nizuna can't understand, unlike Light. When Nizuna asks if there's danger nearby, Aoyuki sighs and switches to normal speech, showing her the map she finished under Mei's orders. No threats detected. Oblivious to Aoyuki's irritation, Nizuna cheerfully pats her back multiple times, saying she should have mentioned that sooner, then skips off to resume her patrol. Inside the throne room, Nizuna shouts to check if the coast is clear. After confirming she's alone, she sighs that she hasn't seen her master today and kneels on his throne, caressing the chair affectionately. Suddenly, she hears a noise, the sound of something breaking. Horrified, she sees she's broken the wing of an angel statue beside the throne. Panicking, Nizuna tries to glue the broken piece back before bolting out of the room. Elsewhere, Light and Jack end their training with one last strike. Jack suggests they take a break and relax in the hot springs, which Light happily agrees to. As they soak, Jack compliments Light's progress in hand-to-hand combat, and Light thanks him for the training. Jack proudly remarks that very few beings in the abyss, or even on the surface, could match Light's strength now. Light, however, stays humble, knowing true threats still remain out there, and that he can't lower his guard until his revenge is complete. Back in Mei's office, she faces her maids sternly, reading aloud the letter demanding her resignation. The maids panic and bow their heads, apologizing. Mei demands an explanation. They claim they only wanted to help her because she seemed overworked. Mei doesn't buy it and asks why they sent Nizuna instead of speaking directly to her. The maids start gossiping again, which prompts Mei to sit down and coldly declare their request denied. As punishment, she assigns them to clean the corridor leading to the throne room by hand. The maids protest, but Mei reminds them that if they wish to be promoted, they must work hard. She adds that she'll be leaving soon on a mission with Light, and expects the palace spotless upon her return. With no choice, the maids bow and obey. Meanwhile, Nizuna gazes longingly at a gauntlet displayed in a shop window, something she can't afford. Ellie, the mage, spots her and asks what she's doing. Nizuna explains, then asks why Ellie isn't out on inspection duty. Ellie says everything's fine and she just decided to rest. She then calls Nizuna an idiot. Offended, Nizuna argues back, saying she knows her multiplication tables, though she hilariously answers that 1 times 2 is equal to 3, proving Ellie's point. Annoyed, Nizuna snaps that people who call others stupid are the real idiots. The two bicker in the middle of the street, drawing the attention of onlookers just trying to work in peace. Nizuna boasts about her day patrolling the palace, while Ellie smugly mentions having tea with Light to discuss progress on his plan, adding she'll reserve a private room next time they dine together. Nizuna grows jealous, claiming it's unfair that she doesn't get the same treatment. Ellie teasingly asks if she's upset about the tea, or something more. Nizuna, missing the implication, compliments Ellie's magic and offers to help her anytime. Amused, Ellie thanks her innocent rival, as Nizuna cheerfully runs off to continue her patrol. Back at the palace, the maids complain about Mei's strict punishment, but admit they can't report her since she's Light's right hand. One confesses she envies Mei for being allowed to clean the master's room. They gossip about how Mei was Light's first summon, and that he didn't summon anyone else for 3 months after her. The girls wonder what might have happened during that time, their jealousy growing. Unable to contain their resentment, they attempt to cast a curse on Mei, but are caught mid-act. Mei appears behind them, asking what kind of slander they're spreading now. Shocked, the maids stammer that they thought Mei was away on a mission. Mei says she merely passed by and overheard their words of devotion. She repeats their insults aloud, demanding an explanation. The maids panic and reaffirm their loyalty, but Mei, unimpressed, repeats their wish for her death. Finally, they confess they're jealous of her bond with Light. May calmly explains that during those 3 months, she only trained and educated Light. Nothing inappropriate happened. She adds that she initially came to lighten their workload but has reconsidered. As new punishment, she orders them to clean the entire throne room. The maids beg for mercy, but May coldly tells them that if they have time to insult her, they have time to clean as well. Later, we see the maids scrubbing the throne room frantically. One wonders if they'll finish before dawn, when suddenly, as she sweeps near a statue, the broken angel wing falls to the floor. The maids freeze in horror. Elsewhere, Mizuna lies in bed after her long day, regretting not seeing her master and wishing for a new mission. She falls asleep murmuring a soft, "Good night, Master Light." The next morning, Light walks down the corridor and overhears a familiar argument through the door. Smiling, he opens it to find Mizuna, Ellie, and Aoyuki fighting over who among them is the biggest idiot. He cheerfully greets them, and Mizuna lights up with joy at seeing her master again. Oyuki purrs and rubs against him like a cat, and Light gently pats her head. The others look jealous, and Ellie boldly invites Light to her room, but he ignores the flirtation, saying it's time to work. Suddenly, a two-headed chimera bursts into the room. Light freezes, haunted by the memory of almost dying to that creature 3 years ago. But before he can act, the 3 women step forward, their auras flaring. Mizuna, now deadly serious, snarls that such a mutt has no right to appear before her master. Ellie declares the creature's entire race should be exterminated, and Aoyuki vows to send it to a punishment worse than purgatory. The 3 unleash their power, each at level 9,999, ready to obliterate the beast. But the chimera bows submissively, trembling like a scolded puppy. Light quickly calms his subordinates, assuring them it's fine, and gently pats the creature's snout, apologizing for the scare. Ellie then asks what Light wanted to discuss. The young master turns to his commanders, announcing that May has sent word. The plan is ready to begin. With a confident grin, Light declares, "The prey has finally taken the bait." The women cheer in excitement. Ellie, though envious that May was the one to set the trap, respects her master's will. Light smiles darkly. "Let's begin," he says. "Our first course of revenge is ready to be served." We then cut to a village on the surface, Acra, home to the beastfolk race. Among them walks none other than Garu, hailed as a hero by the townspeople and flanked by 2 henchmen. We soon see several villagers greeting Garu. One of the dogs asks the hero to take care of his sister, while a female dog says she'd love to hear Garu's stories someday. With an air of arrogance, Garu calls the villagers pawns and tells them to keep admiring their superstar. He then spots a human boy rummaging through the trash and, without hesitation, knocks the child to the ground and spits in his face, ordering him to stay out of sight. The boy is then insulted by Garu's goons as the 3 dogs continue their walk. The group heads to a bar and starts drinking. The henchmen praise Garu's way of handling his liquor, and their leader quickly orders more drinks so they can all get wasted. Soon we see a grand feast spread out on the table, chicken, sandwiches, and a huge steak. The subordinates begin praising Garu for being someone of humble origins who climbed to the top of society. One of them says he wishes to be like Garu someday. Garu responds that he had to learn how to use his instinctive perception skill wisely, and one of his underlings comments that Garu's ability is far above average. Garu explains that his sense of smell allowed him to distinguish between good and bad opportunities. Making the right choices is what led to his success. Another dog brings up Garu's time working for the Concord of Tribes and asks what kind of job that was. Garu quickly says he can't talk about it. The Federation demands total secrecy. The underling apologizes for asking, and Garu tells him not to worry and to drink freely. In his mind, however, Garu recalls that it had been the easiest job he'd ever done. He only needed to kill a boy pretending to be a maestro, clearly referring to Light. Garu admits that it bothers him not having found Light after his disappearance in the dungeons, but concludes that it would have been impossible for the boy to survive such a hostile place. Even so, Garu confesses that he's curious about this so-called maestro that other nations talk about, though he prefers not to dig deeper into closed matters. As the dogs order more beer, a mysterious woman enters the bar. She apologizes for interrupting their party and introduces herself, revealing to the audience that she's none other than May, wearing a cloak to hide her maid's uniform. The scene shifts to the dungeons, where May, Garu, and the others are walking. May shows signs of exhaustion, and Garu, seemingly concerned, asks if she's all right. She answers yes and tells him not to worry about her. In his thoughts, Garu urges her to hold on just a bit longer, revealing that he and his men had spent a whole month bringing her here. We then see a flashback of Mei's conversation with Garu at the bar. She introduced herself as a servant of Master Light, words that immediately caught the wolf's attention. Mei explained that she had been searching for her master's whereabouts for quite some time. She revealed that Light came from noble blood, which left Garu skeptical, though he considered the remote possibility she might be telling the truth, and the fortune he could make if Light were still alive. Garu told Mei her story was hard to believe. Mei explained she had traveled the world and learned only recently that Light had joined a group of adventurers and was supposedly killed in the abyss. Garu asked what she wanted from him. Desperate, Mei begged him to accompany her to the dungeon to see with her own eyes where her master had last been seen alive. Garu warned that such a trip was dangerous, but Mei quickly opened a case filled with 3 large gold bars. The dogs were immediately mesmerized by the sight, while Garu looked at her suspiciously, wondering if it was a trap. He soon concluded that even if it were, a mere human posed no threat to him. He could kill her at any moment. So he decided to play along, saying he wasn't doing it for the money, but because Light had been a great friend, almost a little brother, and that he owed him a favor. He declared himself the future leader of the wolf tribe and promised to gather a strong team to escort her into the dungeon. Touched, Mei thanked him and his men for their kindness. Back in the present, Garu mentally assures himself he'll help Mei reach her goal unscathed. Then he'll claim his payment. At that moment, lustful fantasies fill his mind. He imagines humiliating Mei before Light's grave. Soon, Mei and the group reach the spot where Light supposedly died. Garu explains that he and his team were ambushed by monsters, including Light himself, who got caught in a teleportation trap and was never seen again. Hearing this, Mei collapses to her knees, lamenting her master's fate. Still playing his role, Garu tells her that the attack had taken them all by surprise and that they hadn't been able to react in time to save Light. Meanwhile, his men secretly block the exit. Garu mocks the stupidity of humans in his mind. He tells Mei he couldn't save Light. Mei, trembling, replies that her heart bleeds for him, that he was brought here only to be betrayed and brutally beaten by ungrateful scum. If she had been summoned earlier, she says, she would never have allowed her master to suffer such pain. At that moment, Garu realizes Mei knows the truth and steps back, wondering how she could know such confidential information. Secrets known only to Concord officials and a few elite executives. Losing his composure, Garu demands to know who she really is. Perhaps a spy from another tribe? Mei coldly replies that her loyalty belongs only to Light, and that he has no right to question a maid's honor. With a threatening glare, Mei unleashes a powerful gust of wind that stuns the dogs. Garu is shocked. His body won't move. He can't believe he's feeling fear toward a mere human. Mei's blue eyes begin to glow, and Garu realizes he's about to die, until a voice interrupts, calmly asking Mei to stand down, saying Garu is his toy to play with. Mei closes her eyes, and Garu turns to see the source of the voice, a mysterious boy. The dogs are dumbfounded that a human child could be standing in the heart of the abyss. Garu freezes, recognizing the figure before him, none other than Light himself. Garu stammers, asking how Light could still be alive. Light smirks and answers that he's here to collect his revenge, with 3 years' worth of interest. Garu's men ask if he knows the boy, but Garu can't believe it. Light survived. Then he bursts into laughter, mocking the absurdity of a level 15 human daring to challenge him, a level 150 warrior. Laughing maniacally, he declares he'll finish what he started and take Light's head back to the dog village, where he'll be crowned king. Light sighs and asks if Garu isn't even curious how he survived, or what his connection to Mei is. Garu admits he is curious but says it doesn't matter, since both of them will die soon. His men are all above level 130, and they'll crush Light easily. He mocks Light as a worthless human with a useless skill. Light calmly replies that Garu is partly right. Mei did save his life. Without hesitation, Garu orders his men to attack. 2 dogs charge at full speed toward Light, but in a flash, Mei's eyes glow, and the next instant, their severed heads hit the ground. Their bodies collapse beside them, revealing her maid uniform. Mei declares that anyone who dares threaten her master will lose their head. Light thanks Mei for her help and tells her to seal the exit. She nods emotionally. The remaining dogs stare, unable to comprehend what just happened. Garu urges them to stay calm, claiming it was just dirty magic tricks. Light remarks that Garu hasn't changed at all in 3 years, still convinced humans are inferior. Then why, he asks, did your men lose their heads so easily? Garu insists Light must have cheated somehow, but as he speaks, unease creeps in. He orders everyone to attack at once. Yet, in a single strike of Light's staff, the entire group is knocked to the ground. Light approaches Garu. "Is that all you've got?" he asks. Humiliated, Garu scratches the ground, calling Light a loser, claiming he's still superior. Then he leaps back and summons a glowing purple orb, declaring that he'll wipe that smug look off Light's face. He throws the orb to the ground, summoning a level 500 crystal Fenrir. His followers gasp at the beast's power, but Light remains unfazed, calling it too weak for him. Garu sneers, saying Light must have lost his mind from fear, and urges him to beg for his life as he did 3 years ago. Light calmly drops his staff, spreads his arms wide, and says he won't dodge nor defend. He'll take the hit head-on. Garu thinks he's bluffing and orders the Fenrir to attack. The beast fires a massive energy blast that engulfs Light completely. Garu laughs, saying the attack could vaporize any human of Light's level. But as the smoke clears, Light stands unharmed, brushing the dust off his clothes. "Nice move," he says, "but all you did was stir up some dust. Don't you feel stupid?" Garu and his men are left speechless. Light then pulls out a glowing card. "Let me show you what a real Fenrir looks like." He summons an ultra-rare level 9000 card, Primordial Fenrir. A massive white wolf appears, radiating divine energy. Garu can't believe his eyes. Light orders his Fenrir to destroy the imposter Mutt, and with a single icy breath, the crystal Fenrir shatters into pieces, dead instantly. Garu's followers are in shock. Light strokes his Fenrir's fur, saying he could have handled that weakling himself. Then we see Light's true level 9999, the same as May and his elite officers. Garu is speechless. It's impossible. Humans can't surpass level 100. He accuses Light of being an imposter since he looks exactly as he did 3 years ago. By now, he should have aged. Light explains that he wears the bracelet of youth, which prevents him from aging, a reminder of the trauma and betrayal he suffered. He keeps his young form to never forget that pain. Garu realizes this truly is Light, and that he can't win. Terrified, he calls Light a monstrous abomination and collapses to his knees, begging for mercy. He pleads that he only followed orders from the Federation and never wanted to harm Light. Even today's ambush was his comrade's idea. His men protest, furious at being blamed, but Garu silences them. Desperate, he begs Light to remember their good times. His followers, disgusted, lose all respect for him. Light says he just wants information. What does Garu know about the so-called Maestro? Why is the government so interested in that figure? Garu insists he knows nothing. Light presses him again. Why did they try to kill him once they realized he wasn't the one they were after? Garu stammers, clueless. Light glares, but the wolf swears he's telling the truth. Turning to the other dogs, Light asks if any of them know. Cowardly, they claim they do, hoping to trick him and survive. In an instant, May slaughters them all. "Any attempt to deceive my master," she declares, "will be punished by death." Garu trembles at the gruesome sight. Light calmly says he has one more question. "Given my current level," he asks, "would I win if I started a war against the surface world?" He warns Garu not to lie. May's eyes of truth can detect falsehood. Terrified, Garu wets himself and answers shakily. Light would initially dominate, but if every nation united their armies and weapons, he'd face resistance. Light nods, saying that's within expectations. There are limits to what one person can do even on a battlefield. He adds that there are more questions, but they'll continue elsewhere. Activating a teleport card, the entire group vanishes. Garu opens his eyes to find himself in a vast hall filled with people. A grand throne at the end. Light walks toward it, greeted by his subordinates, with May following gracefully behind. Garu is paralyzed by the sight. Light sits upon his throne and commands his followers to display their stats, all of them possessing power levels far beyond Garu's comprehension. Overwhelmed, Garu ages visibly, his fur whitening as despair consumes him. Light, seated proudly, asks again if Garu thinks he could ever win against the surface world. Garu can't even respond. Light smirks and congratulates him on earning a special reward, a pain and despair far worse than death. In his thoughts, Garu realizes the truth. They've created a being who could end the world at any time. "We're all doomed," he whispers. "Is Light trying to become a god?" Light smiles. "I like the sound of that," he says. "Someone is hiding the truth from me, whether for good or evil. The path I choose, divine or tyrannical depends on what I find. With my gift, I can bless this world or drown it in despair. He rises, declaring, "Now the world has a chance to prove its worth. My army and I shall march upward, from darkness into the light." We open on a flashback from 6 months ago. Light, flanked by his commanders, is sprinting through a garden, eager to see his family after setting out for another 2-year campaign. He calls out for his father, his mother, and his 2 siblings, Els and Yum, in that order. But his joy lasts only seconds. The sight before him horrifies him and sends him crashing to his knees. His commanders are stunned as well. His house stands before them, completely destroyed and burned to ash. In an instant, he realizes it's not just his home. The entire town has been wiped out by unknown forces. 6 months later, Light, now accompanied by 2 warriors, prays for the dead of his city. He still clings to the hope that his siblings survived, since their bodies were never found. As he rises, a knight named Gold casually asks if he's okay. Light says he is. Gold then adds that it's time to get moving. He doesn't want to stand around all day. A dark-skinned woman with white hair, named Nemimu, scolds the knight, reminding him not to act that way when their master is warning his family. Watching his subordinates bicker, Light can't tell if they're best friends or sworn rivals. We soon learn both warriors were summoned from ultra-rare cards, and each is level 5000. Gold pushes back, saying speaking like a tense idiot all the time makes anyone unbearable. The 2 immediately start one-upping each other about their loyalty to Light. Nemimu declares she wouldn't mind sleeping beside Light on grass or in a swamp. Gold boasts he'd face the coldest mountain peaks or the hottest magma at his master's side. Still, Gold concludes that for their master's safety, camping right now would be dangerous, and Nemimu reluctantly agrees with her rival. Light tells them not to worry about lodging yet. Their priority is intelligence gathering. Even though his army has enough power to challenge the surface, rushing into war would be foolish. Gold agrees they must know the enemy before any strike. Nemimu asks if the goal is to assess each nation's military strength. Light confirms, and adds that he believes the destruction of his hometown is tied to suspicions that he's a maestro. He wants to understand what makes a maestro worth so much bloodshed. And if the world's answer is a twisted lie, he's ready to turn the world into a blazing hell. As his power flares, the ground trembles briefly before he reins it in. Gold warns him to keep that fury contained in the city. They can't risk accidental casualties. Light apologizes and says he'll be careful. He then draws a card and summons the Fool's Mask. A mask appears in his hands. He puts it on and looks at his parents' graves one last time. He tells them he will never forget them, lays flowers on their tombs, and departs. We cut to Light and his subordinates soaring through the skies. Curious, Nemimu asks what their first task in Dagas will be. Gold reminds her to mind her tone when addressing the master. Light also reminds Nemimu that on the surface she must call him Dark. She apologizes, using his real name Topside could make him a target for the Concord of Tribes. Light explains he'll register Dark as an adventurer and raise his rank by taking quests. Gold asks if that's how they'll get intel from the big fish. Light confirms. As the skyline of the city comes into view, the 3 would-be adventurers choose to land outside so as not to attract attention. Upon landing, they spot a father and daughter being robbed by a band of dwarf brigands. Gold's gleaming armor catches the thieves' eyes, and he promptly calls them out to fight, earning another scolding from Nemimu. Enraged, the bandits threaten to kill the family unless the trio shows themselves. Dark gives the order. In the blink of an eye, the thieves are defeated and tied up. Gold starts boasting, and Nemimu scolds him for drawing unnecessary attention. The father and daughter gaze at the group with admiration, and soon the 4 travel together by cart. Dark apologizes for needing their help to reach Dagas, but the father insists it's the least they can do for their saviors. The daughter says she's never seen humans beat dwarves so easily, praising Nemimu and Gold, only for Nemimu to add that Dark is stronger than both of them. The father guesses they're heading to Dagas to enter and explore the dungeon, and assumes they must be famous adventurers. Dark replies they're only aspiring adventurers and still need to join a guild, which surprises the pair. He explains they're going to Dagas to register and climb the ranks. The father says they've chosen the right place. Dagas is the southernmost city of the Dwarf Kingdom, sitting along the border with the Human Kingdom to the east and the Elf Kingdom to the west. The dungeon draws adventurers from all realms despite ongoing disputes, making the city prosperous, even if it still feels rural. Many humans visit, he adds, which allowed him to build a hotel that caters to them. At the city gates, the family bids Light's group farewell and asks if it's okay to part there. Dark says yes, they now know how to find the guild thanks to them. The father introduces himself as Colonel and invites them to his hotel if they plan to stay the night. As they walk away, Colonel's daughter asks if it isn't strange that rookies could be that strong. Colonel agrees their situation is unique. Wandering through the city, Nemumu is amazed by the crowds. Gold warns her not to get lost. Light asks if this is their first time on the surface. Gold notices many shops selling weapons and armor. Light explains that's because adventurers from every realm gather here, and that dwarves specialize in smithing. They enter the guild to register. Nemumu immediately notices the rumor is true. Most aspiring adventurers are human. The humans, however, keep their distance when they spot a demon among them, reminding Light that even here, humans are mistreated. At registration, Nemumu throws a fit because her master is once again listed as rank F. The attendant says everyone starts at the bottom, no exceptions. Nemumu insists Dark should be extra S rank. The receptionist refuses. Dark apologizes for his companion's behavior and thanks the clerk for completing their registrations, also signing up his teammates. Nemumu is mortified that her master had to apologize for her, and Gold says she made a fool of herself. Light tells Gold not to provoke her. Gold replies he's just stating facts, only making Nemumu more anxious. Soon, the freshly registered party arrives at Colonel's hotel, announced by his daughter. Colonel is surprised and delighted to host them. Dark says they'll be staying there. Colonel thanks them and tells them to ask for anything they need. Taking him up on it, Dark says he has a few selfish requests. Colonel says that's fine. Dark asks to rent the entire top floor for 1 month and requests that no one go upstairs during their stay. Not even hotel staff. He offers a hefty stack of gold coins as payment. Colonel tries to refuse. After all, Dark saved his life. But Dark insists Colonel consider this just another request and accept it. Honored, Colonel bows and says he'll arrange everything exactly as asked. Upstairs, Light draws 3 cards and issues 3 commands. Release, silence, magic lock, detection. A glow washes over the top floor. Finally able to relax, Light removes his cloak and tosses it onto a chair. Stretching, he says they're now safe from any troublesome magical items that might spy on them, and tells his subordinates to relax as well. Nemumu, however, gently confronts him. She understands why he wants to travel the surface, but she worries he'll get hurt. It would have been better, she says, if he'd stayed in the abyss and let her and Gold handle the work. Light clenches his fist and cuts her off. Does she intend to exclude him from his own plan for vengeance? Nemumu immediately denies it, but the room suddenly rumbles, reflecting Light's shift in mood. She drops to her knees and begs her master's forgiveness. Gold, as usual, finds the scene amusing, remarking that there are some things a good man has to witness, regardless of the danger. He recognizes Light's desire to carry out his revenge with his own hands, without intermediaries, and says that's admirable. Calming down, Light apologizes to Nemumu, acknowledging she only cares for his safety, and that he let his emotions get the better of him. Still shaken, Nemumu asks to prove her loyalty once more. Light allows it. She takes hold of his foot, apologizes again, and kisses it, signaling deep respect for her master. Light admits he understands the gesture but doesn't like it. He's embarrassed. Unable to hold back, Gold labels the scene eccentric. Nemumu snaps that he shouldn't turn her devotion into something perverse. Gold retorts that all he sees is a maniac enjoying herself kissing her lover's toes, causing Light to recoil. He simply puts his shoe back on while Nemumu orders Gold to take back that outrageous accusation. The next day, the city bustles with markets selling everything from rations to potions, antidotes, and monster repellents. Light's group strolls through, taking in the local trade. People begin whispering about them, and Light notes their disguise may be a bit flashy. They slip into the line for the dungeon. Gold points out there aren't any elves present, even though all other races are here. Light explains the elves' absence is due to a recent dispute between the elf and dwarf kingdoms over who owns the dungeon. Nemumu praises her master's knowledge. Light, noticing how closely she's clinging to him, asks if she has to hold on to him every second. Nemumu says it's her responsibility to protect him at all times. Just then, 2 mysterious figures arrive and blatantly cut the line. Light focuses on the one in a green hood with a massive sword on his back. Clearly an experienced fighter. A group of kids wants to call the cutters out, But they're afraid those men could be dragonids or something more dangerous. Dark doesn't hesitate. He calls out the man in green. Cutting is rude. The blonde man bristles and asks if Dark is talking to him. Dark replies he doesn't see any other cutters besides him and his friend. The man demands if Dark knows who he's talking to. Dark points out their faces are covered. How could he know? And if the man were famous, that'd be even more reason not to commit such a public faux pas. Gold adds the stunt is terrible for one's reputation. Nemimu tells him he's being a nuisance and should go to the back. The green-clad man reaches for his sword, until his companion blocks him, warning that causing a scene here would be unwise. Grinding his teeth, the blonde man backs down. The duo moves to the end of the line, not without promising Dark he'll pay for this humiliation. Human adventurers praise Dark's party for standing up to their inflated egos. Gold congratulates his master, he's already a local celebrity. One of the kids apologizes. They didn't have the courage to confront the cutters standing right next to them. Dark says there's no need to apologize, they spoke up for their own sake. Cutting affects everyone waiting. The kids thank him. One boy, unable to resist, asks if Gold's armor is really made of gold. His friends scold him for the rude question, but he insists everyone's curious. Gold chuckles and starts to answer, but Nemimu cuts in. Of course it isn't real gold, gold is too soft for armor. The kid's leader clamps a hand over his friend's mouth and apologizes. Dark says it's fine. In truth, Gold wears gold-colored armor to symbolize dedication to the Knight's Code. Gold backs his master up, saying no color better represents the shining example expected of knights. The kid asks if this is their first time exploring the dungeon. Dark says yes. The boy explains these floors are broader than most. Adventurers usually camp inside. That doesn't seem to be Dark's plan. Gold notes they're the only ones without baggage. Dark thanks the kids for the tip. The boy says it's nothing and laments they can't be more helpful. An officiating dwarf then calls the next group, the children's party. They wave goodbye and run toward the dungeon. Light admits they didn't think about gear. He and his subordinates are used to storing supplies in an item box. Nemimu asks if they should carry decoy bags to avoid suspicion. Light says it's worth considering. Their turn comes up. They head inside. In the dungeon, they descend the stairs. Nemimu confesses she's never been in any dungeon but the Abyss and didn't believe there were so many different kinds around the world. Gold recalls the kid leader's warning. This dungeon is especially expansive. Light says they need to analyze the dungeon core to uncover the truth behind all dungeons. A task even Ellie, the mage of his army, couldn't accomplish. Dungeons are saturated with mana that grows stronger the deeper you go, he explains. That power spawns monsters and traps, endless possibilities. They emerge into a green field teeming with exotic birds and creatures. Dungeons hold their own worlds, Light notes, very different from the surface. After a moment taking in the view, Light draws 3 more cards and issues: SSR, Clairvoyance; SSR, Concealment; RSS, Flight. They rise above the forest. Gold marvels at the panorama and at his master's ever-surprising powers. Nemimu, loath as she is to agree with Gold, does. Gold infers Light is using Clairvoyance to locate the next floor, Concealment to avoid enemies, and Flight to take the shortest route. Light confirms it'll save them a great deal of time. Elsewhere, a squad of monstrous orcs is sliced apart by none other than the elf who cut the line earlier. Seething over being humiliated in front of humans, he proclaims himself the youngest elite warrior among the Elf Kingdom's White Knights. He introduces himself as Kaido, a legendary hero with maestro blood. Every elf knows his name, he says. His companion, an elf of the dark kind, urges him to calm down. They came for the trolls on the 3rd floor. There's no point wasting time on weak orcs. Kaido snaps at him, Yannick, to be quiet. He won't forgive anyone who dared insult him. He boasts of his level, 1500. Yannick concedes that Kaido is beyond the limit of ordinary elves and his level is nothing to scoff at. But Kaido isn't satisfied. He needs to climb higher if he wants to crush those who offended him. Yannick sympathizes. He too was cast out by small-minded people who didn't understand his research. Kaido, impatient, tells him to get on with it and help him level up quickly. Yannick agrees. He's eager to test the results of his research on Kaido. As they turn away, Kaido thinks to himself he can't fully trust the Dark Elf. He'll discard him once he's served his purpose. Meanwhile, Light's team fells the dungeon's last troll. Gold asks what's next. Light says they'll collect the monster's magic items and call it a day. They need proof for the guild that they reached the 3rd floor. Nemimu suggests returning to the surface. Light agrees, noting the battle left their clothes filthy. Nemumu announces she'll make sure Light is thoroughly clean. Every last inch. Gold smugly notes his armor never lost its shine. Nemumu tells the showboat to shut it. Gliding through the abyss, Nemumu praises her master's skills. They've made it back to the first floor in no time. Gold admires the dungeon's sunset and jokes he wishes they could fly forever. Light likes the idea but says they'll need to land and walk soon, or they'll draw attention. Nemumu points out that happens thanks to a certain idiot's shine. Gold replies that his golden armor looks even prettier in sunset light. Light smiles at their banter, until he spots the kids' party from before. They're about to engage a group of goblins. Gold assesses the formation. 3 boys up front are warriors. The girl is a mage. The kids dispatch the goblins without much trouble. Their leader checks on the team. The boys say it was easy. He tells them to gather magic gems before more monsters appear. Suddenly, Dark and his group appear, startling the kids. Dark tells them that staying focused on your opponent is crucial in battle, but that doesn't mean you can ignore your surroundings. The children stare as a snake lies crushed under Dark's staff. Its bite wouldn't kill them, Dark explains, but it would paralyze someone briefly. If Mia, their mage, had been bitten, their formation would have collapsed and they might have lost to the goblins. The leader thanks Dark and his companions for saving them. Nemumu senses something approaching. Dark feels it too. A rustle erupts from the brush, and a pack of wolves charges at full speed. Why are wolves on the first floor? They usually haunt the deeper forest. The kids' leader orders a retreat, but Dark says the wolves aren't after them. They're fleeing from something else. The wolves thunder past, and then the trees begin toppling. The group freezes as a massive, monstrous insect crashes into view. The leader names it a quadcyst mantis. The creature locks onto the humans with a sadistic gleam. Dinner is served. And that's the end of another chapter of this incredible story. If you're enjoying these recaps, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next episodes of this epic anime and other adventures we have coming your way. See you next time.